There's a way to proceed in this world, and it's really in the light of faith. If you can do all you can do, and then you leave the rest to God, I think that's really the balance of Catholicism.
For many years, Catholics around the state, they've wanted Catholic education.
As pastor for Christ,
when Bishop Nieder arrived, he did a number of listening sessions. In the south part of the valley, the people were very animate. They needed a Catholic high school. And Judge Memorial was our only city school. It was too far to travel, but the bishop would tell them in his meetings, we don't have the resources. We can hardly maintain the schools we have.
It was getting critical to the point where Judge Memorial, a school that's designed for 700 or 800 students, had 950 students in it, and they were just packed to the gills. So the diocese allowed us to submit a bid to buy the old Jordan High School on 90th South and State Street, but we lost that bid.
I was traveling and got an urgent message that Mr. Skaggs wanted to meet with me. So we zoomed back to Salt Lake, and Mr. Skaggs came in and he said, "What are you doing?" Bidding on that old asbestos-ridden school. And I said, "Well, Catholic people have been wanting additional schools in the south end of the valley, and that was about our best bet." And he said, "Father Fitzgerald, Aline and I want to build you a school." Well, I almost fell off the chair. Shock is the understatement.
Any story of the Skaggs Catholic Center has to begin with Mr. and Mrs. Skaggs. His dad died when he was 26 years old, and he bequeathed them with 11 corner drugstores / grocery stores. And so between 1954 and really 1994, he grew those stores from 11 to something on the order of 1,500 stores. Getting to know Mr. Skaggs, it's an insight into how a billionaire thinks. Like our first idea was that maybe we would find 10 acres of land. Judge Memorial was on 7 acres of land, so we presented that idea to Mr. Skaggs to say, would you be willing to fund 10 acres? And he almost just basically kicked us out of his office. He said, "You can't build a high school on 10 acres. What are you thinking? Go find me plots of land that are 50 acres plus." At that time, Draper was really an agricultural town. But that's where the land was, and so that's why we purchased the spot.
So we had 57 acres of wonderful property, a commitment of $60 million from Mr. Skaggs. And he said, "I know you'll do what you promise you say you'll do."
The idea of the Skaggs Catholic Center and how it came to be was just unheard of. Nothing like this in Catholic Utah had ever been done before.
When we started Skaggs Catholic Center, there were just 4 of us who were employees. Gailey had a big presence in the valley. He knew a lot of people. And he recruited the mothers that were in the preschool with his son. They came as volunteers, obtaining materials, art materials and dishes and trays for the cafeteria. And we would do tours of this muddy building. We'd say, "This is going to be the TV studio, this is going to be the cafeteria." They'd ask me, "What's the curriculum going to be like? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that?" And all I'd say is, "We're going to be a Catholic school like all the other Catholic schools." So it was interesting that people did take a chance on it. Starting the Skaggs Center was taking risks and depending on the providence of God to take care of whatever needed to be taken care of. And I think that's the legacy we have.
In August of 1999, we opened, and it was like almost a surreal experience because it was the first day of school for everybody. We had 995 students in grades K through 8, but we had 1,731 students on the waiting list. So in other words, for every student that we had accepted into our K through 8 school, we had 2 on the waiting list. The news stations were all here, and they really thought this was something different. There was a benefactor who came forward to say, "We're going to build something for the Catholic diocese, and we're going to build it properly." On the one hand, it was a tremendous opportunity. On the other hand, there's a little bit of pressure because, okay, guys, you finally have something after 100 years of a diocese where it can be built in the proper way. Let's find out, see if you can really do it.
When we walked in that first day, those buildings became a school. They didn't become an educational center until the kids walked in. But we had nothing to look back on. So we had to create traditions. And through this campus, there are statues, pictures, icons. All the things that are added each year are adding to our Catholic identity.
This is Dr. Colosimo, live for our historic first broadcast of JD News.
When we first started, every day and every event was a new thing for us to develop and to create. Graduations and ring ceremonies, we had the opportunity to say, well, what are we going to do? There was no, what have we always done?
And I'll never forget Monsignor Fitzgerald. He told this to Dr. Colosimo and myself. Whatever you do, it has to last 25 years. And it was like, oh, we'll do that, but it's going to be someone else's issue or somebody else's whatever. But I took that to heart to make sure that things that we did had enough stability that they could stand the test of time.
This senior service project, we take a week where every senior in the school is farmed out to a nonprofit for 5 full days.
As I look back upon the traditions, the elementary Christmas programs were just fabulous.
What's going on?
Each grade level had its own Christmas program.
The living stations of the cross are the 8th graders acting out Jesus' passion and death during Holy Week. Every 8th grader takes part in that.
One tradition that I really enjoyed is after football games, we would go to the grotto and we'd pray a decade of the rosary. And all of the friends, family, we all go hold hands, and that's just something I love so much.
Kairos is an overnight retreat where seniors go away unplugged, meaning they don't have any technology, and it tends to be a gigantic reset button, a deep dive into their relationship with others and their relationship with God.
I just will never forget hearing the experiences of students being able to share our life experiences and connect that to God and our faith journey.
Kairos is all about being very vulnerable. It was just an amazing place to grow and develop that faith and really find relationships.
That really is the mission of what Catholic education is all about. How do you begin to develop a true relationship with God? And as they exit, we definitely want them to exit with this relationship.
These kids are striving for something more. They're challenging themselves to take that next step up. And I started realizing over time that it's still about math and, teach the AP calculus and understand the content, get the grade, whatever, but there's so much more.
Dr. Colosimo said that Nikki coined the phrase, reading, math, and Jesus. And that's really what St. John the Baptist Elementary was about, developing the students' reading and math skills because that's what they needed in all subject areas, and then really growing in their faith and their Catholic identity.
First and foremost, I want my students to remember that they are children of God. And then along the way, teaching them to love learning.
I would say one of my favorite relationships that I gained from this school was Mr. Brunetti. I call him my dad, actually. I would literally be like, hey, Dad, and students would be like, what? I think why I really value his relationship is because he taught me tough love, to be able to teach me how to kind of stick through some things that I was going through, while also just reminding me to be still connected to my faith.
Our job is to help find the very best parts of you and instill some energy in you that makes you flourish. And sometimes the best thing is just to shut up and listen.
There's so many people on campus who just want the best for you. It's not just a job to me, it's how I live my life every day. Being a coach, my goal is for them to start taking the wheel when it comes to their faith, their diet, what they do for workouts. They need to start taking some agency and taking control of their lives.
The faculty wants to be here. It's invigorating, the faculty is great, administration is great, and the kids are great, so why not be here?
The manner in which you have carried yourself has really made me proud, has made the school proud.
Dr. Klossmo was the perfect choice. He's a dreamer, a joy, a frustration, all of the above.
In every school develops its own particular personality.
I've had a 25-year run at this. And what I realized about my speeches about halfway through was that people didn't really want to hear me. So about halfway through, I just made a decision to stop talking. And it's been one of the best things. We have this adage, no adult should ever do anything at our school that a student can do instead. That's what we're here for.
We, the class of 2010, have chosen to give a gift that will continue to give.
I know how to give a speech, but can we help a student form a speech that is their own speech, but yet reflects the values of the Skaggs Catholic Center? That's a challenge. That's what's difficult.
In the years to come, when we're sitting at the desk of our new job, or on the couch in our parents' basement, the memories we've made and the lessons we've learned will still be with us.
You know, you have a good academic institution, a good Catholic institution, when students themselves are leading.
My time spent in student government here, that just gave me such an avenue to be able to lead and serve not only the school, but also just the whole entire community.
Being that it's cradle to college, we all work together to help the kids to grow. And I think that community, that faith, is what is special about this place. It's a family.
If you were to ask our alumni what their memorable experience of being part of this campus, I think what they'll reflect back to you are the things that we believe are the most important. Faith and community and education. And that's really part of the magic that all good Catholic schools should have.
I think one of the most important things that our family has experienced on this campus is the sense of community. My oldest daughter was diagnosed with cancer when she was in college, and I still had a freshman and a fifth grader on campus. How this community scooped up our family in that moment and, for the months and months after is something that I will be forever grateful for. Giving them that safe space to talk, giving them that safe space to have normalcy. I didn't feed my family for 6 months. Meals showed up on our doorstep for 6 months. And I think one of the things on this campus is there's a song, a hymn in Mass, "We are the hands, the heart of God." And my children, my family got to see that in this community during that time.
If you look at how many people have been through here, either as an employee, a teacher, or a student, the parents, if you look at the number of lives that have been touched by the Skaggs Catholic Center, it's massive. And that's because of Mr. and Mrs. Skaggs and their family.
Their seeds have grown and multiplied, and they could never have imagined how special this place would be.
This place literally built me. It literally built me, and it was honestly, I would say, is the foundation of my faith. You can definitely feel God's presence here. It's the house of the Lord.
I go there, see the statue of Guadalupe and the tower, the chapel. I think gratitude. I walk in there and I think, boy, it's unbelievable. How did we ever do it? Don't give up. Keep that spirit. If we really are people of faith, then the Lord is present.